There comes a moment in every man's journey when he realizes that peace is more valuable than attention, that his silence speaks louder than his words ever could, that the greatest revenge is not to hurt her, not to show her what she's lost, but to move on so completely that her memory no longer stirs his emotions. When she realizes that you're no longer affected by her, it shakes her in ways she never expected. Because deep down, she thought she would always have a piece of you, that no matter what happened, you'd always be waiting, still hoping, still yearning. But she was wrong. At first, she doesn't notice. She assumes your silence is temporary. Maybe you're trying to make her miss you. Maybe you're pretending to be busy. But then days turn into weeks, and your absence becomes real. You're not watching her stories. You're not liking her posts. You're not reaching out. You've stopped reacting altogether. And that's when the confusion sets in. She starts to wonder why. She replays the memories, the times when she could pull your attention so easily, the times when a single message from her could change your entire mood. She remembers how deeply you used to care, and she starts to realize that version of you no longer exists. Because the man you were back then lived for her validation. He was attached to the outcome. He thought that love meant proving your worth to someone else. But the man you've become learned something far greater, that love without respect is an illusion, and that no one is worth losing yourself for. You stopped chasing because you finally understood that what you were chasing wasn't love at all. It was a reflection of your own emptiness. You were searching for someone to fill the silence inside you, but now that silence is your strength. You don't run from it anymore. You sit with it. You grow within it. You've learned that solitude isn't punishment, it's preparation. She starts to notice the difference in your energy. You're calm, grounded. There's no trace of bitterness or resentment. You're not trying to prove anything. You don't talk about her. You don't care what she's doing. You're focused on your mission. And that unsettles her, because deep down, she was used to being your source of purpose. She thought she was the sun, and you were the planet orbiting around her. But now she sees that you've become your own source of light. You've detached, not because you hate her, but because you've evolved beyond the need for external validation. That's what confuses her the most. See, when a man becomes truly stoic, he's no longer reactive. He doesn't seek revenge. He doesn't chase closure. He doesn't dwell on the past. He accepts what is, learns from it, and moves forward. There's power in that acceptance, power most people never find. Because the world tells you to prove yourself, to fight for love, to get even. But a stoic man knows that everything external is fleeting. Feelings fade, people change, circumstances shift. The only thing you can truly master is yourself. When she finally realizes you've reached that state, her entire perception of you changes. The man she thought she could manipulate is gone. The man she once took for granted now walks with quiet confidence. You're no longer chasing, you're attracting. You no longer beg for attention, you command respect. She might reach out, maybe with a casual message, pretending she just wanted to check in. Maybe she tries to bring up old memories, hoping to reignite something. But the difference is, you don't feel that pull anymore. You don't respond with emotion. You don't let nostalgia cloud your judgment. You've already made peace with the ending. And here's the truth most men don't realize. When you stop chasing, you don't lose her because she's gone. You lose her because you finally see clearly. You see that what you were holding on to was never as valuable as your own peace. You see that your worth was never determined by her presence. And once you see that, you can't unsee it. That clarity is irreversible. She'll sense it in your tone, in your posture, in your silence. You're not pretending to be over her. You are over her. And that reality hits her harder than any words ever could. Because now, she's the one who's uncertain. She's the one wondering what you're thinking. She's the one checking your profile late at night, wondering how you became so unaffected. That's the irony. When you truly let go, the energy reverses. The same woman who once ignored your effort now starts to feel your absence. She realizes that your energy wasn't replaceable after all. But here's the key. By the time she realizes it, it no longer matters to you. You're not seeking validation anymore. You've redirected that energy into your purpose, your health, your craft, your discipline. You've learned that emotional control isn't about being cold, it's about being stable. It's about refusing to let your peace be disturbed by anyone's presence or absence. That's the essence of Stoicism, to be unmoved by temporary emotions and grounded in eternal principles. A Stoic man doesn't suppress his emotions, he observes them. He allows himself to feel, but he doesn't let those feelings define his actions. You've learned to sit with pain until it loses its power. You've faced heartbreak without running from it. You've accepted that she was part of your journey, but not the destination. That's maturity. That's strength. That's the kind of energy no one can fake. And in that transformation, you become something rare. A man who doesn't need to prove he's healed because his peace speaks for itself. You no longer care if she regrets losing you. You no longer care if she notices your growth. You're not performing anymore. You're just being. And that calm, grounded state, that's what draws people toward you. Not because you're chasing, but because you're centered. When she sees you like that, she'll feel a mix of curiosity and regret. She might even miss you, not because she wants you back, but because she misses the version of herself she was when she had your attention. That's what people forget. They don't miss you. They miss the feeling you gave them. But that's no longer your responsibility. Your job is to stay disciplined, stay calm, and continue building the life you were always meant to live. You've learned that detachment isn't about indifference, it's about perspective. It's about recognizing that everything in life is borrowed, moments, people, emotions. Nothing is truly yours to keep. So you let go with gratitude, not bitterness. You thank her for the lessons, and you move forward. Because true power isn't found in control, it's found in surrender. That's the point she'll never forget, when she realizes you've surrendered not to her, but to life itself. You've accepted things as they are, and that acceptance gives you unshakable peace. She'll never fully understand how you did it, because she's still looking for that peace in other people. But you found it in yourself. And once a man reaches that level of inner stillness, he becomes untouchable. So when she realizes you're no longer affected by her, understand that it's not about revenge. It's not about getting even. It's about freedom. Freedom from the need to prove your worth, freedom from emotional chaos, freedom from attachment. That's the highest form of power a man can reach. Not dominance over others, but mastery over himself. She may think you've changed, but the truth is, you've simply returned to who you were meant to be before the world taught you to chase. You've reclaimed your center, you've learned to stand alone, and from that place of strength, life begins to align in ways you couldn't see before. Opportunities appear, new people enter, peace returns. That's what truly happens when she realizes you're no longer affected by her. She sees a man who no longer needs her to feel whole. And in that moment, she finally understands what real strength looks like. Quiet, grounded, and completely free.